Let's concoct a religious potion. The recipe: 1 drop of essence from a few major religions. Mix well, leave overnight in the full moon's light to cool off. Drink and enjoy. Hi there! I was born and raised Catholic, in a country so Catholic even the Vatican sometimes seems less Catholic. So you can imagine how quickly I was over that. I went to church every week until I was 16, forced by my parents, which, as we all know, is the best way to kill any curiosity or faith. Nothing discourages a teenager more than being told they must believe. When I had my confirmation, that ritual where you pick a saint's name, something odd happened. The more I participated in religion, the less faith I had. It felt like the two were on opposite ends of a scale, forever trying to balance each other out. Now that I'm older, I've realized something. Religion is often the enemy of faith. Believing in a higher power shouldn't feel like signing up for military service, with a rulebook, a benefits package, and a promise that when trouble comes, you'll be their sword and shield. That's absurd. Faith is a feeling. You can't write it down. It's like thirst. You can't quench it by reading about water. We all have an innate need to believe in something. Even nothingness becomes that something. It's unavoidable. But many people never get to experience this journey themselves because religion often replaces it with programming, a spiritual shortcut that ends up being a dead end. If faith is a feeling, then it can't be reasoned in or out. You're either in love or you're not. You just know. Feelings don't exist in the physical sense, yet they run our lives. We pretend otherwise to keep things efficient, but we're only half thinking machines. The other half is feeling, and most times feelings lead the way. When I was younger, I expected religion to give me some kind of level up. You know, I'd finish confirmation and suddenly hear the divine voice of God say, "Congratulations, you're now Catholic level 2+. Here are your new powers, now go forth and grind experience in the name of the Lord." But nothing happened. That silence said everything. I realized how ridiculous the whole concept was, and that I'd been searching in all the wrong places. I once heard an obscure amateur philosopher say, "Religion is a concept of the mind, faith is a feeling toward the divine." And it was me. I said that. And I'm actually quite pleased with myself for coming up with something that sums it up so neatly, even if it does make me sound a bit pretentious right now. So religion and faith, they barely overlap. And even when they do, it's not the point. You can't give someone a feeling. You can't make them love you or God through instruction. Religion doesn't bring you closer to God because closeness isn't what it practices. And that's okay. Because the only place you'll ever find God is inside. It's the same place where you find love, because God and love, they're synonymous. And all the interpretations, symbols, and rituals are just reflections of that one truth. It's like a cosmic flower that doesn't exist in this plane, but somehow touches it, and we feel it as a quiet pulse in the heart. When I realized the Catholic Church was a dead end for me, I went exploring. I started mixing ingredients: Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Shintoism, paganism, even witchcraft. I figured if certain truths overlap, maybe that's where the magic is. I know, that sounds anti-scientific, but if you can't feel your faith, what's the point? My problem with Catholicism was that it drained the feeling out of everything. So I followed my gut, searching for resonance, for emotional truth. Religions are fascinating historically. They're both sacred texts, and cultural time capsules from ages when writing was rare and sacred. Back then, he wrote mostly about gods and kings, two sides of the same coin. So it's no surprise that every religion is a remix of something older. Nobody owned copyright on enlightenment. Our earliest gods were natural forces, the sun, storms, fire, things that shaped us. The sun, for instance, gives life freely, asks nothing in return. You could still call that God. There's also this theory that the concept of God came from our ancestors' first psychedelic experiences. Maybe someone ate a magic mushroom and met the divine. I like that idea. An animal eats a mushroom and suddenly humanity begins. Why not? Until proven otherwise, imagination is fair game. You might have noticed I included philosophies in that list, because to me, the line between philosophy and religion is blurry. Religion is often an organized cult seeking power. Philosophy just asks why. Religion at some point stopped asking and began punishing the ones who still did. And that's when I knew I couldn't stay. If someone had told me early on, there is no universal truth, you can read every book, follow every path, but what you'll find is only for you. These answers are born of your journey and they'll rarely benefit anyone else. They are gifts you earn by walking a road no one can walk for you. I would have saved myself a lot of stress. If I had to distill what each of those paths taught me personally, it would be something like this. Not a definition, just the imprint each left on me. Catholicism. We're born into imperfection, learning to transform pain into compassion, to love through endurance. Taoism. Each one of us has a way. To walk it truthfully, we must let go of control and flow with what is. Hinduism. Life moves in eternal cycles. Our actions ripple forward, teaching us responsibility across time. Buddhism. Life contains suffering, but awakening lies in how we meet it with awareness and peace. Shintoism. The world is alive with spirit. Gratitude and reverence for nature keeps us in harmony. Paganism and witchcraft. We are co-creators of our own reality. What we channel, we become, light or shadow alike. Many have tried to define God, but God, like love, breaks math. It cannot be transactional. It only gives endlessly. From source comes entropy. If I'm sure of anything, it's that we'd be better off creating our own Frankenstein's monster of religion, something stitched from the best parts of all, rather than submitting to corrupted institutions built for power. I'm sick of hearing about the horrors behind clerical walls. I've never met anyone who truly found God in church. Only belonging, maybe comfort, and that's okay too. Because the real research is always solo. God isn't found outside, only within. That's where the solace lives. Look deep enough, stare into the abyss, and you'll realize the eyes staring back were always yours. Look into your own darkness. See yourself without your eyes. Maybe the feeling you've been chasing has been searching for you all along. I found what I was searching for, the feeling that was always there, waiting to be nourished. When I stopped looking for God in my mind and started feeling through my heart, it blossomed. Because love must be felt before it can be understood. The blueprint was always within us. Noise just made it faint. No one can define God for you because this truth comes from inside. It's meant to be lived, not taught. And yes, it's hard. That's intentional. Discomfort refines us. Pain brews the potion. You are the alchemist and the experiment both. You have to make it and drink it. No one else can. But the reward is yours. And to me, it was worth every drop. Because if God is love, then we're here to learn what kind of love we are and how to embody it. Love doesn't need a mirror. It knows itself by contrast. And that, to me, is the point of all this. To figure out what kind of love we were always meant to be. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please consider liking the video and subscribing. It would help me a lot. Thank you.